What does it mean to live? Many have attempted to answer this question, from philosophers to writers to lawmakers. However, none offer an answer as bold as Big Tits Zombie. The foolish among us may simply write this film off as a low-budget grindhouse splatterfest, nothing of substance to offer. But these people are long gone lost causes. They should be discarded as those who can't view beyond the surface have less vision than the blind. Big Tits Zombie subverts any viewer expectations by taking an anticipated, trashy aesthetic and using that to mediate the thin line between what separates the living and the dead. The film strips its characters bare, not only in body, but in soul. Our lead characters are dancers at a strip club, an occupation that the film acknowledges may be provocative, but doesn't give any justification in disrespecting the leads. They have to constantly remind others that they are dancers instead of prostitutes. Despite that, the men around them try to force them into a role they do not want. There is a scene in the film where the men and the women are hired to work for instead suggest whoever leads have a sumo match with a loser facing the punishment instead of dancing. This punishment ends up being that the character that loses is forced to strip bare and lie while some of the men eat off of her, degrading her to being equal to that of a mere table, which is an object. This expertly contrasts later in the film, where our lead characters are forced to become warriors against their will, as when the zombie apocalypse begins, their only options are to fight or die. The zombies, and what they are a metaphor for, is what truly stands out to me as a shining beacon of an already genius film. The first proper introduction to zombies is when two of our lead characters get attacked by zombie fish and zombie sushi. This is clearly meant to be a parallel to another famous Japanese monster who came from the sea, Godzilla. Similarly to Godzilla, the zombie seafood here represents the fears of nuclear radiation and nuclear weaponry that washed over Japan in the aftermath of the bombings of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, a time where Japan felt powerless, forcibly oppressed into a role of submission they didn't want against their will. Later, when the human zombies attack our lead characters, it is not unlike the societal attacks women have faced every day, known as misogyny. Misogyny, zombification, and the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima all forced the target into a role they never asked for. They're all attacks that oppress targets by removing their ability to act within their own free will. At many points in the movie, the main characters beg their friends to end their life if they get bit by a zombie. This is because they know zombification will remove their free will, thus removing their ability to be alive. Ultimately, Big Tits Zombie courageously answers the question of, what does it mean to live? By telling the audience that freedom is living. We are stripped of our free will, either by fear, societal shortcomings, or physical oppression. We're essentially being stripped of our life. In the emotional ending to the film, we get a character that initially seems strangely out of character. Our main protagonist states, "I wasn't sad," while visiting the gravesite of all her friends. But it is later revealed she is able to resummon her dead friend, who was not zombified, clearly indicating that the message of the film is that even people who have died on their own terms are more alive than the oppressed being denied their ability to live. There's also a scene where our main antagonist steps in dog shit. Thank you for listening.